I just got a text message from Eve's teacher. She said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children. I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. Hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
Well, okay, we're here again, and it's another disgusting scandal, and this time I honestly can't even believe what has transpired and some of the responses that I've seen from people involved in this situation. And honestly, I just can't sit around anymore and not discuss it. My conscience will not allow me to move on and just let this be another crazy headline and scandalous story about, you know, another family vlogger gone wrong, another crazy YouTuber who's off the rails. I can't sit around and let it happen anymore. These people deserve jail time. And I'm not just talking about the people that were arrested. I'm talking about multiple people deserve jail time for failing innocent children. And I just want to give, you know, a trigger warning before watching this video. It's heavy. The things that have happened to these children are, quite frankly, disturbing. It's gonna be difficult, it is, but I think it's important to discuss things like this, and you'll see why as we go throughout. So if you're not aware, there's a YouTuber, family vlogger, mommy vlogger of a channel called 8 Passengers named Ruby Frank. She was taken into custody on Friday and charged with 6 felony counts of aggravated child abuse after 2 of her 6 children were found abused and malnourished inside of a home. According to an affidavit filed by an officer with the Santa Clara Ivins Public Safety Department, a child climbed out of a window at a residence in Ivins, Utah to get help, which led to the allegations of abuse against Frank. The residence belonged to Frank's business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, who was also arrested in the case. The child ran to a neighbor's house to get help and asked for food and water. The neighbors noticed that the kid had duct tape on their ankles and wrists and decided to call the police. The boy was taken to a hospital where he was put on medical hold due to his deep lacerations from being tied up with a rope from his malnourishment. This is according to arrest records. After the first kid escaped the house, who's now been identified, by the way, as her 12-year-old son, a second malnourished child, now identified as her daughter, 10 years old, was found in the same residence in similar physical condition of malnourishment. The second child was also taken to the hospital for treatment. According to the documents, Frank filmed a YouTube video from the house just days before the arrest, which adds to Miss Frank being present in the home and having knowledge of the abuse, malnourishment, and neglect. The statement from officials said that a search warrant led to the discovery of evidence consistent with the kids' wounds, and 4 minors were taken into care by the Department of Child Family Services. That's from an article by Insider. As of right now, Ruby Frank and Jody Hildebrandt have been arrested. They are being held without bail, as far as I know, and if they're convicted of intentional aggravated child abuse, they may face up to 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $1,000. But I'm hearing actually now that they potentially are facing even longer than that in prison, if convicted. By the way, in an article that came out yesterday from Rolling Stone, it was reported that the neighbors started noticing that there were weeks at times where the children appeared to be left at home without an adult present. Ruby went dark on social media and allegedly taped up paper all over the windows and would disappear for weeks at a time. And this is coming from the neighbors. The cops were called several times. They would come knock on the door and nobody would open up. I'm telling you right now, there is no possible way that you can believe that no one else knew about it in this family. Absolutely no way. This is obviously very wild because Ruby is a huge former family mommy vlogger. She ran a YouTube channel for like 7 years with her husband, Kevin. They ran the channel called 8 Passengers, which rose to fame extremely quickly because they were documenting on a daily basis every move their children make, family content. They were often giving out parenting advice, which is just the sickest thing I've ever heard, just knowing what we know now. They are a family of 8. Hence the name 8 Passengers. They have 6 children. Sometime this year, for some unknown reason, they deleted the channel. So no one knows why. All of a sudden, everything, 2.5 million subscribers, all the video content on there is just gone. There had been sort of rumblings that there was inter-family turmoil. For example, their eldest daughter has cut ties with them and is estranged from her parents. Basically, they had just been under extreme scrutiny for the last several years over basically her and the father's very strict authoritarian parenting style. They have very draconian views on raising children and, you know, right and wrong and living in truth. They have intense punishments as well for the children, which we'll get into, and some of the criticisms that they've received over the years. But Ruby and her husband are now seemingly separated. His involvement, I think, is gonna come out in the next couple, you know, weeks, months perhaps, and you know, just how involved he was in this. But they are seemingly separated. They're members of the Church of Latter-day Saints, and they've been accused of using their religion to, you know, implement these extreme rules upon their children. She's sort of just gone off the rails. She kind of splintered off from the 8 Passengers channel, and then recently co-founded a new channel and a new organization called Connections. And that is where the business partner Jody Hildebrandt comes in. So I don't know if they were living together. It seems like they were living together and they were doing this business partner thing. Connections is basically like a mommy support group. They claim to help treat those lost and stranded in the darkness of distortion. The darkness of distortion basically means your addictions, fear, sadness, and all our self-destructive behaviors. That's where it derives from. It's from the darkness and this and living in distortion, they call it. Jody Hildebrandt is a therapist who had her license put on probation in 2012 for about 18 or so months because she shared private info about a client. According to this client, it was in an effort to basically ruin his life. She told the group of elders at the church that he had like a severe porn addiction, which if you're familiar with the Mormon lifestyle, obviously that would be something which would be not great. Your therapist is never supposed to tell anybody about the things that you talk about. It's all supposed to be confidential. She did not abide by that, and she decided to tell other people. So this is obviously not somebody that can be trusted. This is somebody who's just very unhinged, in my opinion, and you see that in the videos that Ruby and Jody made together on this Connections channel, and they call themselves the Moms of Truth. So people believe that Connections is, you know, very cult-like, and they criticize the extreme and authoritarian ideologies that they preach. It's basically like family counseling. I don't know how else to really describe what they're doing, and I don't even know if they know what they're doing, but it's like family counseling, stepping stones for how to live your life in truth, which these people don't live in any sense of reality. Like I mentioned, Sherry, who is their oldest daughter, who has now moved out, has cut ties completely with their parents. She's completely estranged from them. And she's voiced that several times on social media. She's also voiced that she does not agree with the strong views of Connections, which her mother co-founded and is very much a part of and the figurehead of. You can kind of see that like this is one of her children that is speaking out, who went through the cycle of, you know, living under that household and for many, many years being in the videos. And this is how she truly feels when she's finally old enough to break away and, you know, speak for herself. That's kind of the first part of this. Okay, now I just want to talk about, just to give you some background information if you're not familiar with this family or this channel or, you know, whatever. This is kind of some of the notable criticism that 8 Passengers has gotten over the years. And one of their most notable was banning their son from his bedroom because he played a prank on his younger brother. He woke him up and said that they were going to Disneyland and to pack his things. So he just played a prank. Because of this, they banned him from his bedroom and he was forced to sleep on a beanbag. And this is not just, oh, overnight he had to sleep on a beanbag. Overnight he had to, you know, sleep in the hallway, you know, 2 nights or so. This is for months. He had to forced to sleep on a beanbag because he played a simple Disneyland prank on his brother. They sent the same son to a wilderness therapy camp for undisclosed reasons. And basically we're insinuating that he needed to basically completely change and go fight for his life, and that would teach him a lesson kind of thing. Seemingly for punishment for something, no one knows what that was. And if they're not even going to disclose that, then I don't even know what it could have possibly been. One of the ones I could not believe with my own eyes until I saw it was that she refused to take her kindergarten daughter a school lunch after she forgot it at home. And basically she got a call from a concerned adult at the school saying, hey, can you please bring your daughter lunch? She's hungry. Instead of bringing her daughter lunch, immediately grabbed the camera and started ranting very angrily to the camera, saying that, you know, her 6-year-old daughter should have known better. She should know how to pack her lunch, and that's basically gonna teach her a lesson. She should have packed it herself, and she's gonna learn the hard way. Well, this led to accusations that she was starving her daughter, which obviously now are not unfounded whatsoever, and it kind of makes you go back and think, okay, what other accusations were not unfounded either? After this event, by the way, they accused their audience of stirring up drama and basically said, you know, this is what we do with our kids, and we're just trying to teach them that their actions have consequences. 6-year-old, by the way, kindergartner. Also, in a very infamous video that they posted, she and her husband told their 2 children, young children, that they would not be getting presents from Santa Claus that year at all because they weren't responding to punishment, like being kept home from school and cleaning floorboards. So they weren't responding to that, so they just weren't getting any presents that year. And they posted it on their YouTube channel for millions to see. She was quoted saying in a video, "It's because they're so numb, and the more numb your child is, the bigger the outcome, they need to wake them up." The more numb that she's perceiving her children to get, the more she's gonna up the ante and like intensify the punishments against her children. This is just a couple examples. There's been many more. This channel ran for 7 years, and it increasingly got more and more intense as she kind of, you know, became more and more distorted. People became so concerned that an online petition formed with over 18,000 signatures asking Child Protective Services to please intervene with this family. 18,000 people signed this. Okay, so let's get into some of the statements that have been released. Now that you know basically what the situation is, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not gonna hold back on this. There's some things that I'm so disturbed by. If you don't like the way that I respond to this, then I don't know what to say. I don't even know how these people feel like this is appropriate, other than the eldest daughter. So let me share really quickly what the eldest daughter just said. Sherry, who is Ruby and Kevin's eldest daughter, she shared a photo to her Instagram story of police with the caption that said, "Finally." So I don't know if they were like making an arrest or whatever, if she happened to be there, but she just said "finally" in reference to her mom finally getting arrested. And then she also posted, "Hi all, today has been a big day for me. Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. We've been trying to tell the police and CPS for years about this, and so glad they finally decided to step up. Kids are safe, but there's a long road ahead. Please keep them in your prayers and also respect their privacy." So that was her response. She is also a victim in this situation, even though she was not in the home. She grew up with this mother and this family and this father. That was her response. So I just want to let you know about that. Okay, the father. A lot of people are probably wondering, what the hell is the father doing? Like, what was his response? He has seemingly responded via a short attorney statement that basically said that his urgent focus is to simply keep his children together under his fatherly care. My opinion is that he belongs in jail. Okay, he belongs in jail. Where the hell has he been? You expect us to actually believe that? What father has no idea that this is happening to his children? I really would like an explanation. How does he not know his children are starved, duct taped, and rope bound and fighting for their lives? How does he not know any of that? Malnourishment does not happen like, oops, you didn't eat one meal, so you're malnourished now. No, it takes a very long time for that to happen. What is wrong with you? I don't know if there's any reasonable explanation for why this is happening. He knows who his wife is. What is the excuse? Why are you not seeing your kids? I think I can understand the concept of, if you're a parent, you would literally break through a wall to get to your children if you knew that something was happening to them. I'm absolutely disturbed and disgusted, but the response from the sisters, okay, this is Ruby's sisters, is what I cannot get over. And it really leads me to believe that a full-scale investigation needs to happen on those 3. Because, by the way, they're all family vloggers as well. Okay, all of these women exploit their children for views and for money, post it every single aspect of their lives and put it online. All 3 of them, Bonnie, Julie, and Ellie, have released a joint statement to Instagram. I'm gonna read it for you now. "For the last 3 years, we have kept quiet on the subject of our sister Ruby Frank for the sake of her children. Behind the public scene, we have done everything we could to try and make sure the kids were safe. We wouldn't feel right about moving forward with the regular content without addressing the most recent events. Once we do, we will not be commenting on it further. Ruby was arrested, which needed to happen. Jody was arrested, which needed to happen. The kids are now safe, which is the #1 priority. This has over 100,000 likes on it, by the way. I'm so disgusted. Thanks for the love and understanding, says Ellie. Thanks for the love. So you're meaning to tell me, okay, referring to the first statement of this, you're meaning to tell me that for 3 years, you kept quiet while innocent children were duct taped, malnourished, open wounds, tied up, starving to death, having to escape out of a window to beg for help, and you kept quiet for their sake. Is that really better than you speaking out? You're fucking sick and you're delusional. If you actually fucking believe that. If you 3 actually believe that. This part I can't get over. We wouldn't feel right about moving forward with regular content without addressing the most recent events. How are you actually talking about yourselves in this post? What the does social media content have to do with your nieces and nephews being abused and malnourished to the point of hospitalization? I have to ask you for a second, what the does this have to do with you at all and your content? What does it have to do with you and your content? To me, this situation right here is all the evidence that you need that these family channels centered around their children, vlogging every day, need to be shut down. Because here's why. For 3 years, actually probably longer than that, but admittedly 3 years, these children have been abused and everyone knew about it. But for the sake of making money, putting out content, keeping up appearances, and maintaining a happy family life brand image, they sat idly by and said fucking nothing. Nothing. These women, who are all mommy vloggers, by the way, with kids of their own, for the sake of going on with their regularly scheduled programming and filming their regular content, sat around and said absolutely fucking nothing. They want so badly for everyone to believe that they're the perfect family and just hope that these things would just, they'll work themselves out, right? They're too selfish to be burdened by all of this, by their nieces and nephews and children starving to death. You need to understand right now, from this situation and all the others that currently exist, this type of family vlogging content creates monsters. It takes a monster in the first place to even post a statement as deranged as the one that we just read. I repeat, there needs to be a full-scale investigation about these sisters now as well. And I mean that. Apparently, they have been doing very similar things, such as posting videos of their daughters shaving their legs for the first time, a whole bunch of other basically just predator baiting content, in my opinion. Trips to the hospital, clickbait thumbnails, everything. Every aspect of these children's lives has been posted and exploited. No care in the world. They've been informed that their videos appear on predator playlists, and apparently just didn't care. And these are just the sisters we're talking about. We're not even talking about Ruby right now, who's the worst of them all, who's sitting behind bars with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. What the is wrong with these people is my question. You want me to believe you didn't speak because you value Ruby's children's privacy, right? Yet you've never for one day, not one day, ever, have you respected the privacy of a child, yours or anybody else's. I just want to know, when have you ever cared about children's privacy before? You've never once demonstrated it in the entirety of your family channel and since the conception of your children. Have you ever demonstrated that you even know what that concept is? And now you expect us to believe in this one situation, though, you've suddenly learned the concept of privacy as it relates to children. It's so convoluted, it's actually fucking scary that people can actually believe the lies they tell themselves. And another thing, Ruby was arrested, which needed to happen. Jody was arrested, which needed to happen. I need to ask you a question right now. How in the fucking world did you know that your sister needed to be arrested? How did you know that? I just need to know. Explain how you knew for at least 3 years. You knew that something was so wrong that an arrest would have been justified, and yet you did nothing. It says at the end of the post that the children's safety was always the #1 priority. The #1 priority was not the children. I think we can all agree on that. The #1 priority was you making content. We see that in every choice that you've made, every action so far, and even in this statement, which took 3 of you fucking clowns to come up with, and you still fell short. And I just want to talk about something for a second. Do you know how scared this child must have been? This was identified as their 12-year-old. son. Do you know how scared he must have been? How much effort and courage it must have taken for him to climb out of a window? How hungry and sick he must have felt? I'm sick to my stomach over this. I'm sorry. I can't help but get, ugh. He had no other option but to try and fight for his life and beg a neighbor for food. And think about, do you know how terrified he must have been climbing out of a window, knowing that if he is caught, he will probably face the worst punishment in his tiny little life that he has ever experienced. And let me remind you, this is someone who took away her son's bedroom privileges and bed privileges, forcing him to sleep on a beanbag over a Disney prank. This is the same mother who refused to bring a lunch to a 6-year-old because she didn't pack it herself. If these adults had half the courage that it took for that child to climb out of that window and ask for help and help himself and his siblings, then maybe some of this would have been avoided. And obviously I'm really digging into the sisters right now, and I don't want that to detract from the truth, which is I am absolutely utterly disgusted and lost for words at what Ruby and her husband and Jody have done to these children, and how they have failed these children, and how they have abused these children. There are no words. None at all. I hope that they rot in prison. I really do. I hope that they finally really learn what punishment is. But to know that the sisters knew about the abuse, knew it was happening, and continued about their lives, no care in the world, posting as recent as 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and continue to even profit off their own children and exploit their own children, it makes me see red. It really does. Bonnie, Ellie, Julie, they all regularly post to their YouTube channels, okay? They upload several times a week. They've all ignored any comments about Ruby and her children. You say you've done everything, but you can't make a video saying something on your platform. Bonnie has 1.3 million subscribers. Ellie has 1.6 million. 1.6. You said nothing on your platform, and it's not like you don't have one. Now I want to get into Bonnie's video response. Her sister Bonnie, as I mentioned several times, also a family vlogger. She has a channel with 1.3 million subscribers. She released a video statement to her channel that was up for a few hours before being deleted. We're gonna watch it, but basically her first words are, it would feel very out of place for her to continue doing content right now, just given the situation. So she wants to update us on her content, first and foremost. Her first words are not about the kids and how sick and sorry she is. Just about her desire to keep things moving as scheduled on her platform. And in my opinion, it's pretty obvious that she posted this video statement to try to capitalize on the inevitable buzz and cash attention that would be coming her way, you know, once the world found out about Ruby being arrested. That's my opinion. And I feel like until she started to see some of the comments and the backlash on her posted video, only then did she realize that, okay, I'm gonna delete this post. It gave her a reality check. Just get ready for this one.
I've got regular scheduled content that was supposed to go out tomorrow, Friday, and it is Thursday evening, and
first thing out of her mouth, our own content. Gotta focus on that regularly scheduled programming. Sorry guys, can't get the video up. A little bit of a family drama situation. It's not like your nieces and nephews were found starving to death or anything. Why the fuck are you even mentioning content, is my question to you.
nothing that I could have anticipated. I don't think any of us could have really anticipated. If you have the internet, you have seen news articles on my sister, Ruby, from the 8 passengers. And my sisters and I, we are on the very same page. We put out a message. You can read that on Instagram.
I'm sorry, but this video comes across so fucking contrived to me. The whole somber act, sad voice. How are you not more emotional about this? What's wrong with these people? Okay, I'm sorry, but this feels to me like one giant Instagram plug. Okay, like, hey guys, go follow my IG if you want to find out my true and real thoughts on this. Why the fuck isn't this cross-posted to your YouTube channel? Easy for people to find. Oh, that's right, because you want to maintain your carefully curated brand image. Why do people have to go searching on other platforms to find your statement? Here's why. You don't want a blemish on your YouTube channel so then you can go back to regularly scheduled content after this all blows over. She said what she cares most about in the opening lines of this video, getting back to content. Believe her when she says that.
For the last 3 years, we have truly clung on to each other and offering support to one another.
So you supported one another, but you can't support innocent children who have no adult to advocate for them. Meanwhile, they're starved, duct taped, tied up, malnourished, fighting for their lives, abused, while you traipse around in your new custom-built home, paid for by the money of your exploited children, by the way, and you go on with your life. Go f yourself. But thank God you guys are supporting each other. I'm really glad that you guys are all supporting each other. It's sick.
I don't think any of us could have ever seen this coming.
I love how she's acting so blindsided by this and like shocked. Totally blindsided, yet in your joint statement you claim that you knew for 3 years that something was wrong and you were just basically counting down the days until your sister was arrested. But you didn't see any of this coming though, you
We
said.
all did as much as we could legally, and you don't know what you don't know.
She says we don't know what we don't know. Okay, tell us what we don't know. Did you call CPS? Did you offer to take them in? Did you call in for a welfare check? Did you tell the police? Even still, saying you did all you could do legally is no excuse. Did you do everything that you personally could do? No, you didn't. You have a public platform. Use it. Speak out against your sister. Post a video or an Instagram. You have millions of followers. Use them.
I do feel a little bit numb at this point. The only thing that we ultimately care about is that our nieces and nephews are safe, and they are. And that is the only thing that matters to any of us.
All I'm hearing in this video is me, I. I mean, people like this make me physically ill. Seeing someone twist a situation to make it about themselves is actually unbelievable to watch this happen in real time. It really is. Slimy.
It is going to feel weird for me to move forward. And I think, do I just move forward?
This is the part where I am actually lost for words. If I was not watching this with my own eyes, I'm not sure that I would actually believe it. Discussing if she should keep vlogging in a video statement about her sister being arrested for child abuse and her children were just found half alive. I have no words for this. I just can't get over the fact that she said it's going to be weird for me to move forward. Like, using the weird in this situation is just so criminally casual, in my opinion. Hey, should we just brainstorm right now in this video, like what we're gonna do? It's like, just letting you know right now, like my content might be a little weird for the next, few days or so. Why are you talking about yourself? What are you gonna do for your YouTube channel? What are you doing? It's unbelievable.
Just taking a day at a time. Who knows what anything has in store, but we just know right now that.
Okay, I'm not like a body language analyst or anything, analyzer, nothing like that, but the only time that I see her visibly emotional, tearing up in this video is when she's talking about her YouTube schedule being messed up. That's the only time I see it.
I don't have any thoughts even for myself. I don't know what I would even tell myself, let alone tell all of you.
Me, that's all she says. Me. Don't know what I would tell myself. I don't know what, I
think times like these is where it really tests your belief in God. And I know that timing is everything.
Timing is everything? Who fucking says that in a situation like this? Is she sick? Timing is everything. An emaciated 12-year-old climbs out of a window and begs for his life next door to a neighbor because no one would help him, and you're talking about timing? Go fuck yourself.
And I know our family will be okay. And things like this happen.
Things like this happen? Are you fucking serious? Yeah, guys, it's a little weird, but things like this just happen. Everybody goes through this in their family, don't they? Yeah, no. This should never happen. And if these kids were to go into like a kinship placement, the cycle of the abuse under the care of these sisters would never stop. They would continue to make content off them. They would use it to their advantage. They'd be like, hey guys, things are a little weird around here. Just got more kids hanging out and we're gonna be taking care of them, so give us sympathy. They would pick up right where their parents, Ruby and Kevin, left off in exploiting them. It's absolutely sick. No, things like this don't happen and should never happen.
And somehow we each find a way to move forward, no matter what situation you're finding yourself in.
She's really driving it home here that she wants to move forward. If I got anything from this video right here, it's that she wants to move forward and get back to content. That's all I'm hearing from this. 2-minute statement, by the way.
The sun rises every day. The sun sets every day. And each day you move forward. That's all you can do.
Unbelievable. That has to be one of the worst statements in history. In history. Just need to move forward, everybody. You're sick. To conclude this video, I just want to say this. This conversation cannot end here with, oh, what a horrible thing that insane mother did to her children. It cannot just be a news story that is just here today, gone tomorrow, okay? This is something so much larger, and the bigger picture here is that we need to start taking a look at these family channels for what they are and understanding that it is everything for the YouTube channel at the cost of these children. These family vloggers forsake all morality, all privacy, all consideration for their children. It's all about branding, the fake lifestyle, as if they live this perfect, unblemished life. It's insidious in not only its effect on their own reality and the lives of their children, but also on the lives of the audience who watch these videos every single day and believe that what they are watching is true, authentic family content, and that these children are happy and content. What has to happen now is that we need to keep this conversation going. Keep applying pressure on these people. Send a message loud and clear to these family vloggers that this type of content is not socially acceptable anymore. Gone are the days where children are exploited for cash on the internet. This cannot happen anymore, plain and simple. Children deserve to live life on their own terms and away from the prying eyes of strangers who judge their every step and misstep. I think we can all agree, it's difficult enough to be an adult on the internet, let alone a child. I am totally disgusted and disheartened by this entire story and this whole situation. I've been very uncomfortable with family vlogging for a very long time. I've never, ever been for it, ever, and I never will be. I know that this is a very heavy message, but it's one that everyone needs to hear, in my opinion, and they need to hear it loudly. I'm sick for these children, and I hope that they are truly safe in this moment, and they will continue to be. Anyway, if you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.